What's going on, everyone? It's Bales, and welcome back to AFL Fantasy Trade Talk. It is Wednesday ahead of round 18, and we're going to look at, as always, the most popular ins and outs that coaches are making for the week. Obviously, Dunkley, we're missing again, so if anyone's still got him, he'll have to be traded. And also, Serong is going to be the other issue of the week. His ban was upheld tonight. They obviously challenged the verdict, and rightly or wrongly, it's been upheld. So obviously we know dangerous tackle's been a bit of an issue for especially us fantasy coaches this year. So that's going to be another bullet we're going to have to deal with. So a few bullets flying around, but and also Darcy Cameron potentially could be apparently went off early in training today from that. I think it was from the corky that he got on Friday night for the knock in the hip. Might be causing him some issues. So that is something to watch for his owners as well on one of them. So be a very interesting watch, but let's get into the most traded in and out players for the week. The most traded in at this early stage is Cooper Harvey, so nearly 11,000 coats are jumping on him. Obviously, he's going to be probably the best downgrade option for the week, got a break even of 0, and he's probably going to be North Melbourne's team for a little while, so I think he's a good downgrade. Got the mid-forward flexibility as well, so it's going to be very handy on benches, so if you need that flexibility there. James Sicily is the target of choice coach are looking at. Nearly 7,000 coats already are jumping on him, and I'm very keen on him this week. Obviously, got North matchup. He's got a very, very easy run for the rest of the year. I know that when the traders are talking about the scale of hardness, there's a lot of cow scale of hardness, I should say. There's a lot of green through here. Look at that: North Melbourne, Richmond, St Kilda, Collingwood, Bulldogs, Melbourne, Freo. Pretty much all those sides do give up points, and especially two defenders. So it is 934k. It's expensive, so if you can get him, I think it's a good play. Again, if you still got a rookie on field, and you can't get that rookie up to Sicily, it probably will be better to maybe take a bit of a haircut on that premium. But if you've got them all off your field, I do like Sicily as that upgrade there, going very nicely. And James Blank is out for Hawthorn. Failed HIA assessment, so that could be an issue. Does Sicily may play a bit taller this week? I still don't think it'll matter. North Melbourne is a good matchup at Marvel, so I think he's still fine, but just something to note for coaches that are jumping on him, whether they bring in a tall defender or whether they use Sicily as a tall defender for the week. Jack Steele, over 6,000 coaches jumping on, and I think it's good. I think it's a good target. Obviously, it sucks for people like me. I know DC was one. I know a few others jumped on Jack Steele and ran 8 after his 120 odd against Port. I think it's 128 against Port Adelaide, and obviously he's dropped a lot of poor scores since. And obviously he's been injured and has dropped a heap of cash. So everyone else is going to get him for about 130 odd K cheaper than what I paid for him, but I still think he's a very good option. There's a lot of poor scores here. He really probably could have 300 in a row. This one was a very odd score. It was a nearly game for Steele. That could have easily been a 110 plus. And that game, there's a lot of times where he got the ball and just got tackled or missed a few tackles here and there. But he looked really good last week with 146, filled all the stat lines as we know he can do. So I really like him as an option, one of the best downgrades you can get this, or best cheaper value premiums you can get this week. Callum Mills, another one there at, what is he priced at now? 646k. 92 last week wasn't huge, but I think if he didn't go in defence, he would have got a 110, I think, against Richmond. Bulldogs, I don't actually think he'll go back. I think this is a game where they're going to need him in the midfield. You've got Bonampelli, you've got Libba, you've got McRae, you've got, well, if he gets CBAs, Treloar, they're obviously the main three, and then McRae, sort of whether he gets some or not. So they're going to need someone like Callum Mills in there, I think. So I think he is going to play majority midfield this week. He has been since Warner's been out. And I think this is a game that Sydney really need to win. If they've got any hope of making finals, they need to win. And Callum Mills, I think, has got to be in the midfield if there's any chance of winning. So nearly 4,000 coaches jumping on. I'd still prefer to pay up for Steele if you've got the money there, but I do like Callum Mills if you've already got Steele or you can't get up to Steele. So Mills not a bad option. Stephen Coniglio, over 2,000 coaches jumping on him after a huge score last week of 100 D6, his highest of the season, which I was very happy to bring him in on his debut and him put up that score. Again, I do like the pick. He's been cheap for a bit. He's now up 882, so he went up a fair bit last week, 28k. So he's going to could go over 900k this week. What's his run looking like? So Crows, Gold Coast, Bulldogs, Sydney, Port Adelaide, Essendon, Carlton. Not too bad. It's sort of a little bit of a mixed bag. There's a few tough ones in there, but Cogs, I think, can score in any game. He can fill all the stat lines up. He can go missing in quarters, but he still finds a way to put up 85, 90 plus on pretty much every week. and obviously can hit that 130 as we saw on the weekend. So hopefully you can have some more of those ceiling scores on the way home. But I do like him if you don't have cogs. Doherty, Sam Doherty puts up another good score, playing in this wing role that's sort of scared a few coaches off. Not too many. A lot of coaches have started thinking, well, Doherty can score well anywhere. Again, Port Adelaide this week's a bit tougher. I think I saw something, might have been Tim on Sunday night, actually said that Port Adelaide actually do give up points to wingers, actually. So that might be a good thing, especially at Marvel. For Doherty, might put up a good score. Then he's got, West Coast, Collingwood, St Kilda, which is pretty good. I know Collingwood can be tough for wingers, but I feel like Sam Doherty plays more as a winger, but defensive winger. So hopefully he can put up a good score there. And I think he's fixture-proof anyway. He puts up good scores regardless. 3 scores in a row, over 113. He's just been great. And I think he's a good option if you can afford him. It's expensive. I'd rather Sicily for a little bit more if you don't have either. But I do like Doherty still as an option. Sam Banks, similar to Cooper Harvey, good downgrade option. I think he'll be in Richmond's team for a little bit, especially with Jaden Short out. A little bit cheaper than Cooper Harvey. So if you can't get Harvey, I like Banks as the next best. But I'd still rather Harvey, I think, with the lower break even. You can always probably jump on a guy like Banks next week, knowing his break-even's 15. Even if he goes a 50 or a 60, he's only going to be about 240-ish next week. So you can still afford him. Whereas Harvey could be 270 next week, depending on how well he goes this week. So Banks would be number 2 behind him. Zach Merritt, if you can part for him, great. I do expect some tags to come over the next few weeks. I think opposition teams would have seen on the weekend that Crows should have put someone onto Merritt, and was really a driving force of Eston winning the game. I think Eston played really well as a whole, which pains me to say, beating the Crows. But Geelong, I expect an Atkins or something like that to go to him, or even on O'Connor if they want to do that. Bulldogs are a tough matchup, but I think Merritt will go okay in that one. And then Sydney, I expect Rowbottom to go to him in this one, or even Callum Mills could go to him, or if they bring Ryan Clark back in. So it'll be this last month, Eagles, North, Giants, Collingwood. For me, I don't have Merritt, so I'll be looking at him in round 21, but I won't be looking at him for the next 3 weeks just because he's so expensive, and I do think he will cop attention. So, but yeah, great option if you can afford him anyway, if you're not as concerned for the tags. Woden, I think he's behind Banks and Harvey as the downgrade options, but he played okay, got to 37, but if he's the best you can get to, might be what you might need, that 2k difference between him and Banks to get him. So, yeah, not too bad there. LDU, I wouldn't be getting him this week. As a trader said, I expect a Finn McGuinness to go to an LDU this week. But after that, his run's very nice. St Kilda, West Coast, Melbourne, Essendon, Richmond, Gold Coast, rest of the year. I like him as a target, as a cheaper guy after that, but not this week. I'd prefer like a Mills and a Steele over him this week. And then you can look at him after. Toot Miller, I want to see a little bit more before jumping on him as well. Played a lot forward last week. Still has a huge break even there. We know he can hit that, but I'd rather watch another week. I think he'll go back in the midfield, especially obviously Stuart G obviously been sacked today, which is I still think a little bit stiff, but hey, Gold Coast haven't made finals yet in their short sort of career as a club, so maybe they're just trying to get that done. But hey, who knows? But Toot Miller, he normally struggles against Giants because he normally gets tagged there and then the line's there, but not a bad run to finish. So I'm sure I'll probably bring him in at some point, and I think a lot of us will. We just got to sort of know when, and he'd be a very good target, I think, to start with next year. So Parrish is there as well as a good pod option in your midfield. So we'll look at the most traded out players here. Matt Johnson, the most traded out, nearly 7,000 coaches. If he's on your bench, or if you've got multiple rookies on your field, I'd actually keep Johnson this week. With Serong being suspended, I expect Johnson to go into the midfield a lot more this week. Again, if he's your final rookie on field, hey, still trade him. It's still fine. He's got a break even. Is it in the 60s? Yeah, 63. So you're not keeping him for money for cash gen anymore, really, because he's not going to make that much more. But if you've got him and you've got multiple rookies, you can keep him for one more week, upgrade the other rookie, because I think he'll score pretty okay this week. But yeah, again, final rookie on field, then you can definitely trade, because at this time of the year we want our rookies off the field, so he can go. Angus Sheldrick, nearly 5,000, jumping off him. So I've got decision. I'll go to my trade data, but it's either Sheldrick or Windhager going for me. Excuse me. I'm going keeping Sheldrick and going again. I'm keeping Sheldrick and getting rid of Windhager, because Sheldrick plays Thursday. If he puts up a big score, like a 90 plus, I can bench a Darcy Cameron or something like that. I'd rather have a look at Sheldrick and get rid of Windhager than the other way around. So again, if he's your final rookie on field, he can go. His break even, I think, moved up to in the 32, so still fairly lowish. So you still got money to make. But he can go if you should find a rookie on field. If you can get to a Mills or a Steele or something like that, I'd definitely be making that move. Caleb Serong, nearly 4,000 jumping off, and that's just from obviously last sort of 24, 48 hours since he's been suspended and the decision being upheld. He can go, even if you've got a rookie on field, if you can go Serong, because Serong's quite expensive. He's at 940, didn't he? 941. So if you can go him down to a Steele, and then you can go Johnson up to Mills, that's great. You can do something like that and do sort of get your last rookie off field and fix it. But at this time of the year, premiums, we don't want to be holding premiums anymore. That was for the first half of the year, so you continue upgrading your side and getting those rookies off field. Whereas this time of the year, we want as many points on field as possible, and having 941k on your bench for a week, I think it's a bit too much. So unless you have other issues, Shelby goes and puts up 100 on Thursday night, then you can make a case for keeping Serong. But I think in pretty much almost all scenarios, Serong is a trade for me. Harry Sheasel, 3,000 coaches jumping off. Again, does McGuinness go to him instead? That's the question, because McGuinness wasn't playing in the CBAs on the weekend. He was playing more on the wing and tagging Kelly when he was on the wing, if not coming in off the wing and following Kelly around. Could he go to Sheasel? Because are they going to move a midfield out for McGuinness just so they can tag LDU? That's the question. So it's going to be Sheasel or LDU to get tagged. I think it'll be LDU, but there is a chance that McGuinness plays like a high half forward that follows Sheasel around, whether he goes back or if he's in the forward line. So that is just a concern for Sheasel. And a few coaches are jumping maybe straight off if they had him, or if they had him, they're getting off. He's got a very nice run for the rest of the year, but at the end of the day, he is a rookie first year. So is he going to put up these big scores on the way home? A 95 average has been fantastic, and he's only really had 2 poor scores for the year. That 52 on the weekend getting tagged by, I think it was Atkins, and then he got that 47 against Gold Coast. Sort of, that was a bit of an odd game. Well, he got a 64 as well against Wolves, so 3 scores, but every other score's been great. He's been fantastic, but I think he can go. And you can, if he's your biggest issue, you can get him to someone else. Jake Lloyd, obviously going to miss with concussion. He's got to go, so he is a trade. George Wardlaw can go as well. He's on a lot of people's benches that have still got him, so going him down, then the other rookie up, or even just a mid-pricer up to a premium. That's a good trade. Josh Dunkley, obviously going to miss against those coaches, maybe holding him. I think he can still go, because there is no guarantee he's going to be back next week. They've said that he's likely, but that there's no sort of guarantee. We heard that with Hewitt last year. He was likely after the second week, and then he missed the third and the fourth week. So who knows if Dunkley misses more than just this week. So I'd be trading. Seamus Mitchell obviously put up that, was it 50 odd on the weekend? 56, he can go. He's nearly 600k. Again, you can go a rookie down to him up to a Mills at worst. He's only about a 40 odd k difference. So I'll be making that move. Ben Hobbs can go as well. Obviously, his scoring slowed down since Parrish has been the side, and Eston played really well on the weekend. He only just got to the 70, and it was pretty low game time as well. 65%. He's sort of hovering anywhere from that 65 to 75%. He's been a very good pick, but that's back-to-back scores of 73 and 70. I think he can go. He's at a good price. You can get him up to even a cogs cost you about 100, just over 170k. So I'd be doing that. Tom Green, interesting discussion. He got tagged last week by Connor Nash. I expect him to respond against the Crows. I think he actually went pretty well against us from round 1. Yeah, he did. Yeah, look at that, 128. So I'd be keeping for this stage. But again, if you're in a very luxurious position, you don't have a Darcy Cameron, you don't have a rookie, you don't have a Ben Hobbs, any of these sort of mid-price guys or rookies, and he's an issue that, well, he's not an issue, but if he's a player that you want to get rid of the most, then I think you can still get rid of him. I'm sure it's not even 100k you can get to some of these other guys, or you can even get a Jack Steele for 60k cheap. I wouldn't be trading, but it is just an option for coaches in a luxury position. Darcy Cameron, I'd rather keep him over Hobbs, but obviously we just don't know if he's going to play this week. He's not on the injury report, which is good, but just something to keep an eye on with him. Sean Darcy's a tough matchup this week as well. The hope is he can get the points around the ground and run sort of Darcy off his feet, but he won't get many points made out against Sean Darcy. So again, he can go because he's probably going to be a lot of people's in their bottom 3 players, but yeah, it sort of just depends, team dependent. But he can go if you've got him and you want to trade. Jasper Fletcher, what's his break even actually? So he got a 37, break even 31. He's 383, so it's a good price. You can probably go him down to make money again. If that's what gets you the upgrade, he can go. Same with a Harrison, a Bailey Humphrey. If that gets you the cash to do the other premium up on the other end, you can trade. And then Will Day there as well. I'd keep him with the good run. He's got North Melbourne. Do they put someone on him like a I don't know if Liam Shields was injured or something. I'm not sure. But does Liam Shields run with him potentially? North Melbourne, he played really well against them. 128 early in the year. It's at Marvel. I'd be keeping. He's got a pretty good run. Richmond, St Kilda after that. So, but again, if it's a little bit similar to Darcy Cameron, if he's one of your bottom 3 players and you can get him up to a Sicily or a Doherty and you want to do that trade, I'm all for that. I'd rather get rid of Cameron over Day. I'd go Cameron up to a forward other than over going a Day up to a defender. But it's sort of team dependent. If Day's one of your worst players and you want to get rid of him, then I think you can trade him as well. So they're the most traded in and out players. So in terms of my top 5 targets for the week, I think at number 1 I've got James Sicily. I just think that being a good pod, not a lot of people got him. Obviously, he's been brought in by a few coaches, and he's still owned by 22%. But a lot of those teams either just left him in their team and just haven't touched their team since. A lot of coaches, in terms of top 1,000 ownership and top 10,000 ownership, he's obviously very low because he obviously missed the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, including the bye. So I think he's my number 1 target. He's got too good a run and too high a ceiling to really miss out on. Number 2, I have got Jack Steele. So priced at priced 803k. I just like it. He looked really good on the weekend. He's looked good for a few weeks now. It's just I have said he doesn't look injured. He just looks out of form. He looked better on the weekend, obviously looked in good form. 146, his tackles were there, his marks were back, he was spreading, he's getting his touches. He just looked really, really good. So for me, I think he's a great target and he'd be high up on my wish list this week. Coming in number 3, I'd probably... The top 2, I think, are fairly obvious. I think the third option for me would probably... I think it's probably still Callum Mills. And again, he's more a team-dependent one. You might not need a guy in the 600s that's going to get average around that 9,500. Maybe you're looking for your big premiums like your Sicilies and guys like that. But if you need to get your final rookie off field and you've got a Serong and you go Serong down to a Steele and then you go rookie up, I think Callum Mills is the best option now. I expect him to play midfield again this week and I think he put up 100 plus this week. So, yeah, I think Callum Mills will be there. Number 4, I've still got Sam Doherty. I know Port Adelaide's a tougher matchup this week. Obviously, don't give up many points, but is at Marvel, which is good. He's going to be a top 3 defender in my eyes, or at least top 4. Obviously, Sicily could go number 3 with such a good run. But again, if you've already got a Sicily, which I doubt many of you have got him, but if you're not keen on Sicily either, Doherty's the next one. I'd have Doherty as the second sort of best sort of uber premium target there behind Sicily. I think this week will be a lot of defender upgrades because a few people have got like maybe your Himmelbergs you want to move off of. You've got your Will Days coaches want to get rid of. Maybe a rookie and you've had a Will Day in your midfield and you can go up to a defender still and keep Day in your midfield. That's an option. But yeah, I think that Doherty's a good option. At number 5, I would probably... Who would I have? I'm just trying to think exactly who I would have here at number 5. So there are plenty of good options. Guys have got good matchups on the run home. Who would I have? It's tough. There's plenty of good options here that I could be saying. There's so many. It's really hard. I'd love to say Took because I want to bring him back in a lot, Took, but I can't recommend him. It's probably Cogs, and I know it's probably a lot of the most trade-in players. This week it's sort of that week, isn't it? That a lot of coaches are looking at these targets, and they're all really good targets. So Cogs at number 5, he's obviously the forward primo that's a bit more unique in the sort of top sort of part of the competition, the top 10k. A lot of my coaches have got the other 5, and Keneally was sort of the one that was left out. So Cogs is probably at number 5 there. The Crows, not a bad matchup, and he's got sort of a little bit of a mixed bag there, but I think he can still put up a 100 to 105, and he can push more. We've seen him go more, but obviously the ceiling hasn't been there, but sort of the hope is that these ceiling scores will start coming in the back half of the year. As Josh Kelly being back, he'll cop the attention. Cogs will be able to go out and do his thing. So Cogs is at number 5 there, but again, it could be raffled. If you can get a Bont, if you can get a Dawson, if you can get a Goulden, guys like that, top echelon guys, like Tim English as well, if you want to upgrade that ruck spot. I don't mind a guy like a Butters, a Dacos, guys like that. If you don't have any of those guys, they can all they're all great targets. It's sort of the top 4 this week, and then the rest sort of can be shared out amongst the other coaches, but Cogs is a good option as well. So they're my top 5. My trades this week, I am going I'm trying to think of downgrade, Marcus Winhager down to Cooper Harvey to get my cash, and then I'm going a Lockie Ash finally up to James Sicily. I don't see anything, I just don't see the trades changing. Sicily is I think he's coming in no matter what for me. I know I said that flag before about Blank being out, but I want Sicily in my side because if he goes a 110, 120 plus this week, his break even was in the 60s. He's going to be 950 plus if he puts up a big score, more close to 970, and he's going to be out of reach for some coaches. So I'm sort of bringing him in as a bit of a sort of pod play. Obviously, a few coaches are jumping on him this week, but it's not going to be owned by 70% of the top 10,000. He's only going to be probably 20-30%, if that, of the top 10,000. So, and I know he's nearly 7,000 coaches in, but yeah. So they're the trades I'm looking at. But yeah, that's it for the trade talk this week. As always, let me know in the comments below what your trades are, or if you've got any trade questions, put them in the comments below. As always. There's always plenty of questions on here, so I always appreciate people putting the questions. I'll answer those whenever I can get to them. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you do leave a like. We've hit 50 likes on the last few trade talks, so if you can hit the like button and get us to 50 likes again, that'd be very much appreciated. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're currently on 1216, so we are 84 subscribers away from 1300. So if you can help me reach that milestone, that'd be very much appreciated. Turn notifications on so you don't miss when I go live or upload any other content in the future, and all my social media links are in the description below. Follow me across all the socials. We'll be back on Friday afternoon for me, but evening for a lot of people for the usual Twitter space, the pre-lockout chat. I don't think Tim will be on this week. It'll just be me, and obviously I'll get some other people on to go through some trade questions and stuff before the Traders Live show. As I said yesterday, if you are in the Perth area and going to the Thursday or Friday show, I'll be there, so come say g'day. I'll have a beer with you, but I won't have a beer. I'll probably have a Coke, but there you go. So looking forward to seeing all those guys there, including obviously the Traders boys and everyone else there on the shows on Thursday and Friday. But yeah, until the trade talk, not trade talk, we just did that. Until the pre-lockout chat on Friday, have a good couple of days, and I'll chat to you guys then. So I'm out. Cheers.